It's Dr. Shelley Plum again, and we are back. I am here with Wendy Payne. How are you, Wendy?
I'm well. Thank you for having me here today.
Oh, gosh, it's a pleasure to have you. You know, the first thing with regards to finances that I am extremely curious about, because I have my 3 kids, is planning for college. College, how necessary is it to plan ahead for college, in your opinion?
It's very necessary, especially, it depends on your family dynamics, but it is very necessary to start as soon as possible.
Yes.
But you also want to be saving, you don't want to be saving to the detriment of your cash flow. You don't want to be going into debt.
That's true.
In order to save for college or for retirement for that matter. But the sooner the better. We do have limited time between now and when your young child is off to college. So the more time you have to plan for that, the better.
So I'm curious. My children are a little older, in teenage years, but I do have friends that are out there, and we have viewers that are out there that have small children. So my first question is when? When should a parent start planning for their future for college for their child?
Again, as soon as possible. They could plan the moment the child is born.
Yes.
And a social security number is assigned. There's the ability to open a college 529 savings investment account.
Okay.
In which case, really, you could start that before the child is born. You would essentially do a beneficiary change once he or she arrives.
Okay, so that brings up a good point, because you just mentioned, you know, one of the avenues that we could pursue as far as college planning. What are the vehicles with regards to, you know, saving money for college? Can you share with our viewers?
Yes, so typically everyone out there, I'm sure, is aware of the custodial accounts or the UTMA accounts, where you would have a parent custodian for junior,
Right.
per se. You would put money in there, whether it's through a bank account or whether it's through an investment account. That's one method that still exists today.
Okay.
However, the College 529 plans, and 529 references the IRS tax law code, essentially, has sort of 2 legs to it, if you will. There's the prepaid tuition leg, where you can essentially prepay the tuition today.
Right.
And avoid,
Right.
basically avoiding tuition inflationary increases. Then you also have the 529 investment account, where you can, essentially it's an investment account where the parent is the owner and the child is the beneficiary. Those grow tax-free if the distributions are made for college, whether it's tuition, room, board, books, transportation, that kind of thing. The distributions are also on a tax-free basis.
So, you know, with all those options that we have available to us as parents, and there are options there. Your firm, for example, helps to coach, and I'm assuming you look at individual cases and are able to put them on the right path so that they are ready when the time comes.
Absolutely, and this is where knowing your client is very important.
Yes.
So if you're a family that all of your family, all of the generations, they've all gone to Notre Dame or to Clemson or some other school.
Right.
And you know this is where my child's going to go. That's just sort of in their DNA, per se. Then maybe the prepaid tuition plan is the way to go.
Right.
Because you're locking in, again, today's college tuition rates to be utilized later on down the road. However, if having control of the investment account, again on the 529 investment college savings plan side, having control of those funds is important to you. And being able to distribute that, again, if your young child will go to another school, whether it's a public school, a private school, in-state, out-of-state, then the 529 plan is something that we definitely go down the road of usually recommending that in that scenario.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So I'm just curious. I mean, and I have a sense for what could happen, but I'm curious to get your take on it. If we don't plan, say we, you know, just kind of ignore it, and what worst case scenario, I mean, would happen? You still want your child to go to college, but you haven't prepared properly. What would parents who have done that be looking at?
Well, I think worst case scenario personally would be the child doesn't go to school.
Okay.
That
right.
would be worst case scenario in my opinion.
Detrimental.
The other worst case scenario, or other methods that families use to cover the college expense when the time comes, there are loans. Many people may go and get a line of credit home equity line of credit on their home, and they may utilize that to pay for college. That, again, can become tricky and
Yes.
risky over the long term.
Right.
That's, again, you need to work with a professional on that to weigh out the pros and cons of that. They may go into debt to pay for college. There are other ways to pay for college when the time comes as well. There are scholarships, there are grants, other forms of financial aid. If the family, if the child, student is eligible, subsidized loans where the interest is deferred until after college graduation.